And so enjoy. And we're off, I do believe. It is. It's 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. It is. Let me confirm, just to make sure. Yeah, it's Wednesday, June 12th, AD 2024. 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. And we're going to have a fun show, hopefully. I'm going to play it. My stream got cut off, toward the end of the show yesterday. And then I restarted it. And so it was, I didn't say much. Those of you who missed it, if you were watching the video feed, you can listen to the whole thing on the audio feed, including when I was all confused about what was happening when my stream dropped. If you go to the podcast, thehakereport.substack.com or thehakereport.com, you can find the links to your favorite podcast platforms. But I want to talk about Rick. Oh, no, not Rick. I don't want to talk about Rick. I will talk to Rick if Rick wants to call in. I wasn't able to get to him yesterday, but Rick is one of my callers. Some of you guys love him, and so do we, and he loves us. But another person who was he was drinking. He was drinking on the internet. Don't be drinking on the internet if you can help it. You know what I mean? So, and there's like this sad before and after thing. I censored it because it's not pertinent who it is, because he is all of us. It's the evil human nature that tries to self-destroy you, inside of you, that wants to destroy you. So I hope to get to that. I had planned to. And your calls, guys, if you'd like to call in. Oh, they're saying, Hunter Biden's convicted. Ridiculous. I don't know, and I don't care. They're like, Trump. This just shatters Trump's persecution narrative, according to Commie Nonsense Network. And I'm like, not. It's ridiculous. I forgot to tell you guys about the anti-conservative propaganda surrounding the so-called Supreme Court. They're going after our best justices, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito. Samuel Alito, is he really a beta, or is he just playing beta? Regarding his wife, there were secret recordings of them. I'll tell you a little bit about the report. You heard about it on the American Anchor Baby. You heard it in Hake News yesterday on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. And I'm going to talk about it today, hopefully. So anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I am wearing the Amazing Tar Baby, Jesse Lee Peterson's The Amazing Tar Baby t-shirt. Isn't it fun? It's orange. I wore it just like the other week. And it's a size large, so it doesn't look all tight on me or feel all tight on me. It's sort of comfortable because these ones run sometimes unpredictably a touch small, so I got a size large. These are the premium, I guess. I don't know what it is because that's the Teespring name for it, and these are not Teespring. But it has JLP as a Tar Baby. Isn't that with, that's that Disney story with Brer Rabbit? Actually, Disney used it. It was a old Southern tale, I think, adapted from the original Uncle Remus story by Joel Chandler Harris from The Song of the South. And from Song of the South, zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay, my, oh my, what a wonderful day. Plenty of sunshine headed my way. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. 100% cotton, by the way. Yes, human girl. Indeed it is. So if you go to rebuildingtheman.com/stores, yeah, I don't like tied around the shoulders and sleeves either. I don't like it all up in my armpits especially. And then I feel like I have to shift. I'm getting too built. Do I look built? Kevin Howe, who? Kevin Howe is like, I wore a blue t-shirt once. He's like, I have that shirt, except I fill it out a little more with the chest and shoulders. So Teespring, it's not Teespring. Rebuildingtheman.com/stores. Mr. Bluebird on my shoulder. And I believe this is in the Printify area. I know. I get a lot of complaints, right? I get yapped at. Oh, no. This is not specifically in the Printify area. You have to scroll down and search for the amazing Tar Baby merch. Okay? I'll paste it right into the description. Mugs and other stuff. Okay, let me see. Bum, bum, bum. It was once banned. Can you believe it? Banned. You're up there looking like a tar lady, baby. Order large if you are a medium. Yeah, that's what Willie Powell suggests. And that's with this, specifically with the this 100% cotton one. Anyway, I've spent a decent amount of time. I got the orange. I believe JLP has, or somebody has the gold, which is yellow. It's a nice color. So, nice. Okay. I want to get to Mark in Los Angeles. We haven't heard from Mark in a bit of time, right? Oops. Hang on. Mark in Los Angeles, thank you for calling. And how are you doing?
Real good. Thanks for taking my call. Yeah, I don't like to call unless I got something important to say, and this is important. I don't know if you're familiar with the TikToker named Lily Gantz. She's no longer.
Yeah, I don't want to name any. I don't want to name anybody. I don't want to be name dropping anybody.
No, it's okay because they've taken her off. She's been banned from. Well,
I still don't want to name drop any one person unless it's like a news person like Hunter Biden or Donald Trump, obviously. But
okay.
So there's this TikToker who was banned. What's the story?
Yeah, because she said the N-word, and she was very popular.
I've heard of this. A young lady with pretty blue eyes.
Yeah, beautiful young white woman, another victim of black racism.
Yeah, because blacks don't allow whites the freedom of speech. Well, it's not just blacks who are racist against whites in that way. They don't allow whites the freedom of speech. It's all the races want to attack the whites. But you're right. It's black racism, but it's not just black racism. It's anti-white.
Well, according to the report I got, tens of thousands of Negroes planed, doxed her, tens of thousands.
Wow.
And they badgered her employer to the point where he had to fire her.
Now, I bet you that among those tens of thousands were some Antifa people who are maybe not normal white, but not necessarily black.
Well, according to what the report said they were, but you may be right about that.
No towers. Oh, I'm shouting at my chat.
Yeah, and what one person, well, first of all, let me get my memory back. Okay, she was fired for using the N-word, and she didn't do it with a strong R. It's a 6-letter word that's protected by the First Amendment.
Right.
And I believe, I'm a little disappointed that a group like Daily Wire or Turning Point hasn't offered her employment. Yeah. Because she really is super good. She's a conservative, and she's very popular, or she was, but now, they've turned everything on her. What the person, and I think I could say this name because I've heard you mention it, Mark Dice says what we should do as conservatives with somebody like Turning Point or one of the other groups leading the way is just everybody. We pick a time, we pick a day, and everybody just says that word as loud as they can. They can't fire all of us. That word is used as a battering ram to go after whites. Now, nobody's hurt by that word. Nobody's feelings are hurt by that word.
I know. I know that there are some who are in their feelings and imagination. It doesn't matter if their feelings are hurt because they are in their feelings, and feelings are not valid.
Well, it's a way to get back at Whitey.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
It's brainwashing, hatred. The N word we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah. And she said it with an A.
Exactly.
Oh, stay on your regular phone, man.
Okay. What I wanted to say is that a word like that, or a word like racism, it's a weapon that they have in their arsenal, the left, and they use it constantly. And I just think that Mark Dice's plan, or what he wants to do, is take the stigma of that word out of our vocabulary. In other words, you should be allowed to use it. And if you're assaulted, then you should be allowed to take whatever means necessary to fight back. And nobody should lose their job over that word. These hood rats use that word to identify one another on a daily basis, on a regular daily basis. It's in their rap music all the time.
Yeah, they don't care.
And if a white person says it, boom, we'll use it against them. They're not offended by that word.
I know.
If they were so offended by the word, they wouldn't call each other that constantly.
Well, I'll tell you, they are brainwashed because they think, whites said it when they hanged us, or dumb stuff like that. But that's a brainwashing, and it's not valid, and they ought to get over it. Because, like you said, it's just used for hatred.
Well, no, but it's all. I mean, you could take somebody's job.
Right, I know. It's ridiculous. So unjust.
Well, I know, but it's a weapon. They're not going to give that weapon up because it's proved to be valuable too many times in too many ways.
Yeah.
Just like the word racist. They've taken that word and made it a weapon.
Yeah.
And I know that you can't use words like that, but I can't even describe what I'm trying to tell you. When whites are the victim of racial slurs, nobody really gets upset.
I know.
If you're called a whacker, but that's not, but with a C instead of a W.
It sounds even worse.
Right.
But even the word racist, hey, doing fine, man. Pardon me, Mark. I have a guest coming in. Just saying hello. Not to be on the show necessarily, just to say hello. What's up, man? Nice to see you. You want to come? We want to come on the stream for a second. Pardon me, Mark. We're interrupting briefly to say hello.
Where are we here?
Trump.
Can you read it?
In and out again. In and out and in.
I love In-N-Out Burger. They're delicious.
In-N-Out Burger.
Brother.
All right, man.
Have a good day, guys.
Nice.
Did you see your face? Yes.
No, we didn't see your face. Come back, show your face. Duck down so that you'll see up there on screen. So duck down a little bit. Oh. No, he should just be right here. This is faster. Here he is.
There we are.
And then duck down a little bit. There you are.
Which camera?
This camera right here.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
God bless America. Trump 24.
That's right.
Do your shirt again.
Trump in and out and in again. Sweet.
Get to the gym, guys.
Yeah, get to the gym like Hake and his buddy. All right. Pardon me, Mark. My apologies.
Problem.
We're back.
It's all good. No, it's good. But I guess basically what the point is of the call is that last week it was Caitlin Clark as a victim of black racism. This week it's the name you don't want me to say, who's a victim of black racism and black privilege.
Yeah.
The whole idea of using that word to take somebody's job is just evil.
Yeah.
I mean, evil. And these people that are, doxing her and getting her fired from her job, they're not affected by that word in any way, shape, or form. It's a way of revenge. It's a way to get whitey without having to pay a consequence. And I hope Mark Dice is able to organize a day set aside just for everybody in conservative media to use that word. They can't fire all of us. It's a free country. That's a 6-letter word that's protected. I don't care about the history of the word. If they can't get over that word, there'll never be racial peace. Yeah, never.
I'm with you on it. I appreciate that other. I don't want to keep on dropping a name just because I dropped it before, but I appreciate the people who are pushing for freedom of speech and moving the Overton window, because I've noticed that the Overton window, the range of acceptable speech, has opened up a bit regarding talking about Jewish people, talking to and about and with Jewish people, and talking about the blacks. And talking about women. So the truth is, you can't hide the truth under a bushel, especially if you are going about it in the right way, with love and without anger and without madness.
Did you know that if you were in a fist fight if you're white and you're in a fist fight with a black and you call him that word, they can get you on a hate crime.
Yep.
Hate crime laws violate the First Amendment.
Indeed.
But where's the American civil liberties? They're supposed to be the protectors of free speech. Why aren't they out in the forefront fighting against hate crime laws which violate the First Amendment?
Because it
shows that the ACLU are a bunch of frauds and white haters themselves.
Indeed, they are. The ACLU is evil. They're not about. Yeah. I don't know that they've ever been for anything good. I know that they've stood up for the rights of the whites and Nazis supposedly to protest, but they've only ever done it really as a setup and to accuse the whites of racism, and like with Charlottesville, the ACLU got involved to help them have their rally. But that rally was a setup to push evil and to clamp down even further on the whites and the Trump supporters.
Now, I don't know if that's the ACLU's intention.
Right.
I kind of like that they allowed them to to force the city to allow them to march. But
right.
But
they're not truly for freedom of speech, because the ACLU has always been against Trump. They had case after case after case have been against Trump and being for illegals coming into the country. They're not for what's right at all.
No, they're devils in every sense.
Yeah.
But it's just that they're able to use these, like Skokie, 1978. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
The Nazis wanted to march through Skokie, Illinois.
Yeah.
It was a legal battle for a year. They finally got permission to do it. The ACLU was widely criticized, but from what I've read, since Trump won in 2016, the ACLU has been flooded with money from left-wingers who don't want them to represent the white man in any way, shape, or form.
And I believe that the ACLU wasn't truly for the whites, even back then, of course, and I think you agree with me. I say that they were doing it just to pretend that they were that they were fair. Kind of like with this Hunter Biden thing. Oh, see, we're fair.
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But it's just the idea that we're losing our freedom of speech, point by point, on every level. They're using our words to destroy us.
Yeah.
And it's totally unconstitutional. Founding fathers never intended for there to be censorship in this country, even against racial slurs.
Right.
There's nothing in the Constitution that makes an exception for that. So I wish I could say her name again, but if you don't want me to, I won't. But I think that everybody should come to her aid. I hope somebody gives her a job.
People know who you're talking about. People can look it up. I appreciate it. I appreciate you respecting my rule. I know that it's news, but I didn't come intending to talk about it, and so I don't. It surprised me. So thank you, Mark, though. Appreciate it, man. It's a true and it's a great story. Thanks, man.
I appreciate your time. Thank
you,
Hake.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Monto Omid says, the quote that the lady said, just so you guys are aware, was quite harmless. She's like, everybody who I know who is married is married to broke A niggas. Broke A niggas. So it was just a phrase. It's just a normal phrase. And as American Anchor Baby points out, people have become sort of black. You know what I mean? People have embraced that black culture because black culture has been upon us. And so there's been these people who sing rap, go up on stage, these whites who go up on stage and sing rap people's songs or rappers' songs, and then they get in trouble for saying the actual N-word. Stupid, huh? And then she posted a strong response, according to Monto Omid, saying, no apology. I did a deep dive and I still couldn't find a care. Right on. Because everybody knows that it's a dumb thing. She's relatively young, looks like a Zoomer, I guess. Looks like my little niece. Looks like a little Caitlin Clark. Except maybe a little bit shorter and prettier and not as good at basketball, maybe. Kind of a little bit of an irritating voice, my opinion, FYI, just side note. A little bit of an irritating voice. Almost reminded me of that gal who is now on like Fox News. Man, it was on the tip of my tongue. But she was like a Mrs. Smarty Pants. Used to be with the Blaze. She recently went viral over saying, oh, men stink. Men are kind of lame and we're making more money than you. She's like a liberal. She's like a liberal on some issues. Anyway, it's not important. Women. Anyway, shout out. David in Florida is on the line here. David, thank you for calling out of Ocala, Florida, I believe, right?
Right on.
Hey.
What's happening?
Not much, man.
Hey, I got a couple of things to share with you before I talk about the God thing, because that's what I called about from yesterday. Y'all were talking about Jesus, God. I came across this on Facebook this morning. Mark, this goes along with Mark. It says, I'm proud to be black, said the black man. I'm proud to be Asian, said the Asian. I'm proud to be white, said the racist.
I know. It's ridiculous. Exactly. And I've never exactly understood the proud to be. I never even understood really proud to be an American.
What are you proud of? Board of 60 million children?
Well, it's not just that. Whether America does good or evil, it's like that's no credit to me. I was born here, and thank God I'm an American. You can say, I guess, but proud, like, okay, I somewhat get it. You appreciate and are glad to have come from great people, right?
Right.
And that's cool. That's cool with regard to race and with regard to nationality, which used to be the same thing. A nation used to be a race. But what a mess. Yeah, I mean, they just attack white people and criticize them for being the least normal, which is to say racist. They're the most open to all the other races. And some of those who are not open, who are sometimes more sensible than the senseless, open to all races people, they get called racist. When everybody's like that, everybody with any sense, and some people with a lot of people with no sense too. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's just not too many people that stand up. The whites have just sat back and let this thing get out of control. I mean, so, but hey, I called because I want to ask you this question, okay?
Okay.
And everybody out there, when did Jesus begin? When was his beginning?
I don't know.
When do you believe his? You don't know?
Yeah, I mean, he said before Abraham was, I am. So right. I don't know what he meant by that. It sounded like he was always with God.
Right. Well, what he was saying, when Moses was at the burning bush, he said, who shall I send? or say sent me. And he said, tell him I am.
Yeah, so was that Jesus in the burning bush and not God himself?
Yeah,
it was Jesus?
Yeah, that was Jesus.
Or the Son of God?
Bush.
The Son of God
that
went there?
Him. Yeah, that was him speaking before he was even born. So here's the thing.
You think that was? Okay, interesting,
God.
maybe. Say again?
They're all God. All three of them.
Oh, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Because of a few things. First off, just the NIV thing, they took out 1 John 5, 7, and 8, which talks about the Trinity in heaven. That's why a lot of people do not like the NIV, because they changed it. But anyway, because when Jesus was baptized, okay, the Holy Spirit descended upon him as a dove, and then the Father spoke and said, this is my Son, who I'm well pleased, okay?
Yeah.
But I go back to this. When Mary, this Holy Spirit hovered over Mary to impregnate her, so the Holy Spirit would have to be God. You got what I'm saying? You can't, it just makes sense, Then Jesus was going to die. Before he died, they didn't want him to go. He said, it's better that I go so I can send back the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit.
I don't follow that had to be God. He sent his Spirit.
Well, of course. I mean, God is the Father of Jesus. Right?
Yeah.
So the Holy Spirit would have to be God also. I mean, they're all here. The Holy Spirit had something to do with creation. It says the Holy Spirit hovered over the deep, and then God spoke and said, let there be light, and there was light. Then Jesus says, and this is the real one that makes Jesus God. In Revelation, he says, I'm the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. I am he that was dead, but am alive forevermore. You can't be the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last, unless you're God.
How do you figure that?
Huh?
How do you figure that?
Because he said, I'm the Alpha and the Omega. I'm the beginning and the end.
Right. Wasn't he? Wasn't Jesus referred to as the firstborn over all creation?
Yeah. Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that indicates that God is God and Jesus is the.
Well, then
first.
Go back and figure out where Jesus came from.
Is the first and last.
How did Jesus? Was it just when he was born by Mary?
I didn't say that. No. He's the first.
I'm just asking. I'm not defending. I'm not saying anything. I'm just trying to figure this out too. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, that's the problem. I wouldn't try to figure out stuff based on just accept what's said.
I'm talking about with this conversation, because I believe Jesus is God. I mean, we talk.
I know that you. Yeah, I know you think that.
Yeah.
And I know you think that, like, the Bible indicates that, but I don't think that the Bible indicates that. Everything that you guys say is a jump.
How's that?
It's a logical jump. It's not saying that. It's more clear that he's the Messiah and he's the Son of God.
Okay, well, when you were talking about the
and am I denying Christ by calling him Christ rather than God?
No, I'm not saying you're.
Because a lot of people, there's people in the chat who say, "Oh, anyone who denies Jesus is God is denying Jesus." But in reality, I think they're denying Jesus, if anything, because they're believing something that Jesus never said. They're believing different from what Jesus said, because Jesus said he listens to God.
I know,
he's the Son of God.
Say he's God, because when you're talking about when he told the Pharisees, "I am that I am," they knew what he was talking about, and that's why they crucified him, because he claimed he was God.
I have a super chat for you. Evil is Still Real says with a Rumble rant, my God, he's quoting Jesus, why have you forsaken me? So 1, Jesus has a God. 2, God is capable of abandoning Jesus. 3, Jesus died, God dies, God is immortal. 4, you have to be a tard from Ocala to think that Jesus is God.
Look, we're not going to understand everything. Okay, like I told you, I didn't believe Jesus was God until I was about 37 years old.
And you were a Christian before that, right?
Yeah, I went to church and all that.
Yeah, so see, none of us normal people, and you were a relatively normal kid, were taught with this Jesus is God stuff.
Well, no, I was taught that. I just didn't get it. I didn't. In other words, what I'm telling you.
Yeah, I wasn't taught that.
I believe that Jesus was God when he was in the manger, when he was a baby. Okay, he's always been God. They're all three God. That's what I'm saying. All three are God.
Whatever, man.
But,
and what does that mean? What does it mean? What does it matter? What's the indication that since Jesus never sinned and Jesus said sin no more, he thinks that you have to continue to sin because you're not God?
Well, he shed his blood so he could, cover your sin.
Because he was innocent.
You're never going to stop sinning, buddy. I mean, I know that's another conversation.
And that's another extra biblical thing. That's another thing that's a direct contradiction.
Where does it say that you don't sin anymore?
1 John?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says if you say you do have no sin, you're a liar. Okay.
Well, keep on reading, and it says it will be that you do not sin. No one who is born of God sins. He cannot sin.
That's in God's eyes. You can't sin in God's eyes anymore because you're
So then you can sin in your eyes, but not God's eyes?
Oh, you can't. Yeah, he doesn't look at your sin anymore once you're born again.
So then you cannot sin. If it's in God's eyes, then you're not sinning. How come you keep on saying that you're going to keep on sinning? Whose eyes are you using? Satan's eyes or God's eyes?
No, he says he casts your sins as far as the east is from the west.
Exactly. He throws them into the sea of forgetfulness, right?
I believe so.
Whoever sins transgresses the law. Sin is transgression of the law. He was manifested to take away our sins. In him is no sin. Whoever abides in him sins not. This is the King James Version, but I'm making it modern English. Whoever sins has not seen him nor known him. Little children, that no man deceive you. He that does righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. He that commits sin is of the devil, for the devil is sinned from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifest, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Whoever is born of God does not commit sin, for his seed remains in him, and he cannot sin because he has been born of God. In this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whoever does not righteousness is not of God, neither is he who does not love his brother. Isn't that a nice message? That's clear.
Sure, but
it's clean.
They were going by the law, though.
No. It's clear, it's clean, and you guys make it muddy, and you keep on sinning, which is a direct contradiction of what the Bible says.
Yeah, but he was speaking to the Jews then. Okay?
Ain't no, yeah, but
they went by the law. They went by the law, and he came to.
So 1 John is not for us.
Well, it's speaking to the Jews first, buddy. I've told you that before.
And so is it not? Is it not for us?
Jews first, because yes, after the fact, yeah. But
so it's for us.
About the law
this is 1 John. This is 1 John. After Jesus is gone, it's to the Christians actually.
Well, they were Jews, dude.
Right. What's that have to do with whether you sin or not after you're born of God?
Well, you're just we have a disagreement on what we call sinning, because do you not think you sin anymore right now?
I don't know. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what the Bible actually says.
Yeah, if you're born again, okay, it says that you don't sin anymore.
Right.
So if you're born again, okay, are you going to tell me that you haven't never sinned since you've been born again? You haven't never sinned one time.
If I've been born of God, I don't sin. If I have not been born of God, I sin.
All right, well, then you're born of God, right? You told me you're a Christian, right?
I told you I'm a Christian. I didn't tell you that I'm born of God. There's a whole lot of Christians who are not born of God. Otherwise, we wouldn't be.
That's what you're supposed to be if you're born of
God.
No,
but listen, because the Bible was written. The Bible was written because there's other times where it says in this very book, it says if anyone does sin, we have a mediator for us. Yeah, and that's because a whole lot of Christians have not actually been born again. There's a whole lot of people who are, this sounds right, I believe. And then, just as Jesus said, a lot of seeds were thrown on rocky soil and thorny soil and shallow soil and all that stuff. And then there's good soil. And so some of them are saved or truly born again, and some will fall away. So when he's writing to the Christians, all the Christians aren't really born again. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? And that's why you work out your salvation with fear and trembling. because it's God working in you.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It is. That's true.
So you don't go around assuming, oh, I'm born again. When you don't actually know, you're just saying stuff that the Bible says.
You're born again. Hey, you'll know if you're born again because you'll have an experience that you will never forget. Okay.
I don't think that this experience that you will never forget is necessarily the validation. That's not even in the Bible.
Well, that's just because you look at it that way.
Well, is it in the Bible that you'll have an experience that you never forget, or is it in the Bible that that anyone born of God follows His commandments, does not sin, or whatever?
Listen, if you're born again, you're gonna
love
know
his neighbor.
Okay, you hear what I'm saying?
I'm with you that you'll. I kind of like this. I like
feel it.
It sounds right to say you'll know it if you're born again. It sounds probably right, but a lot of people lie to themselves and say, "Oh, I know it," and you're gonna know it, and they'll say stuff like, "I've had this born again experience," and they have like rough lives and they quit doing drugs or quit drinking or whatever like that. But there's a whole lot of atheists who do that, and they're still angry, bitter people that only want to be around them. Not talking about you, of course, but I'm talking about the born agains that they're kind of like the Alcoholics Anonymous people, just angry. Just bitter, cussing, and hard to be around.
That's still their flesh. That's talking about working out your salvation. It's called sanctification. I mean, some people just totally turn and they really get straightened up, but some people it takes years to get them, to quit this or that or whatever. So God works on you. It's not. Sometimes it's a one-day thing, and they just totally get right, and other people it takes them a while. We just need to be glad God's merciful. That's all.
Evil is
enough mercy on us.
Evil is still real. Quotes Jesus: "Repent and sin no more. Be perfect as your Father in heaven."
Yeah, but that was the woman at the well. He said that too, and what he was telling her is, listen, quit whoring around, okay?
Boom! Right? He said, go and sin no more multiple times to multiple different people.
Right, he was talking about the sin that she was doing. She
Not just her.
7 different husbands or something.
So the rest of us can repent and keep sinning?
No, it was talking about, he was telling her when he said go and sin no more, he may go and, get righteous and try to live a righteous life and quit sleeping with everybody that you want to, and marrying divorcing and all that kind of stuff. He wasn't telling her. He knew she couldn't sin no more. I mean, why did he tell him when they were going to stone the woman, ye without sin cast the first stone? Okay.
Yeah, stone with rocks. Stone with rocks.
I just hope somebody gets something out of this, man.
For sure.
The main conversation was this, that they've all three existed. They've all three always existed. They've always been.
Okay.
And they're all three God. That was my point of the call. So,
I agree with the first two, but not the last.
What, that they're all three God?
Yeah, because you could say if Jesus said it, God said it, because Jesus doesn't say anything that he doesn't hear from his Father to say. And the Spirit doesn't operate outside of God, of course.
He sure did tell those Pharisees that he was God when he said, I am that I am.
You can interpret it that way.
Mm-hmm. I'm just planting some seeds, man, in your mind.
Planting some seeds of Satan, of intellectualism.
No. Well, here, let me leave you with this.
All right,
go
ahead.
Those people that we talk about all the time on your show, the government people.
Yeah.
Those people, those are the children of the devil, okay? Those are the tares in Matthew 13. And the problem that's going on right now in the world with all these people doing all this crazy stuff is that Antichrist spirit that God talked about that was going to ramp up in the last days, okay? Now, that's why kids are wanting to be, boys are wanting to be girls. People are killing everybody because their love, it said, would wax cold. And those people up there in our government that have done all these things, they are not Christians, okay? They are the children of the devil. They're totally deceived, okay? And God has turned them over to reprobates because they would not accept the love of the truth, which is Jesus. And so that's why all this stuff's going down. Do you agree with that?
That's part of the truth. It's not the whole truth. Because, we can point out all the evil government all day. And you know me, I do. But the Christians aren't very Christian. We're Christians, and we're not very Christian. You know what I mean? We're not acting Christian.
We're not killing our family. I mean, look at all these guys that all of a sudden they lost their jobs or whatever like that, and they felt, whatever, and they go and they, kill their whole family.
But you sound like you sound like that Pharisee who was praying out on the streets in public, standing in the temple or whatever. And then he's like, I thank you, God, that I'm not like this person who killed his family over here.
I didn't say that. I'm just pointing out the truth. Okay?
That's not the truth. That's just one symptom. You're thinking your righteousness is better than their righteousness, and it's not.
Well, I sure didn't take 3 kids out and shoot them in the head and dump them on the side of the road. That's the kind of.
Do you want a medal for that? You think God's going to give you a medal for that?
No, that just shows I'm not a child of the devil.
No, that doesn't. That's a low bar for a child of the devil. You sound like those people
murder?
because that's a low bar.
No.
Oh, if you didn't commit murder, you're not a child of the devil.
I didn't say you're not.
Right,
because you'll know them by their fruits. Okay, so you're going to.
I know, but you still get angry.
Ted Bundy was a child of God.
Did he turn Christian? He condemned porn.
Supposedly. Okay. Look, man, you can't. It's just like Tex Watson from Charles Manson. You can't cut a lady's baby out of her tummy and then say, "Oh, I'm saved." I killed 7 innocent people and a little baby. See here, I'll leave you this.
Jesus forgave the thief.
Yeah,
and Ted Bundy didn't cut any baby out of a tummy. Sorry, ladies.
No, Tex Watson did. Tex Watson.
Nice.
Yeah, from the Manson family.
Oh, okay. Not nice.
Yeah, he was. No. Hey, listen. The problem is, it's that thing. Judge not.
Yeah, exactly.
Shall not be judged. No, there's a thing called righteous judgment. I mean, Jesse.
No, but my point is, but you don't hear Jesse say, "I'm not like these." Jesse says that's every human being. You may not go as extreme, but if you have anger, you do it in little ways. Your little evil is evil, and it keeps you in hell. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean?
Well, I'm not in hell, but I know what you're talking. You're talking about hell on earth.
Yeah, okay? I mean, anger is hell.
You believe? Hold up. You believe that murder, okay, and like say that this like this guy up in New York that buried all these people out by the shore, Rex, whatever his name is. Anyway,
is that the okay?
Yeah,
prostitutes or something, prostitute killer or something,
right,
allegedly.
Yeah. Now there's up to 6 or whatever. You going to tell me that what that guy did is just as bad as me, say, looking across the street and or let me see how going into a convenience store and stealing a candy bar.
Your stealing of a candy bar led him to do that. Well, my point is, evil is evil. No. Evil is evil. I'm not comparing one to another, but they're both evil. They're both not of God. They're both from hell. You're both selfish, evil, angry. Just because you are able to contain yourself from committing a murder or committing a violation of a child. In these, there's nowadays everybody accepts.
That's what God does. That's when you're born again, you don't go kill people. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
I know, but I don't. Anyway, a lot of people are not born again, but they still don't kill people. Killing people is kind of rare.
True. That's true.
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
It just doesn't mean much.
Well, just read the whole chapter of Matthew 13 about the wheat and the tares, and then you'll figure it out.
Thank you.
Hey, listen. Hey, thanks a lot for having me on, and y'all have a great week.
You too, David in Florida. Appreciate you, man.
Later on. All right, bye.
Bye. Jaime, Minnesota, on the line here. Jaime, thank you for calling. How are you doing? Whoa.
Hey, how's it going, Hake?
It's going well. I'm getting a lot of wind from your...
Let me get out of the wind.
Yeah.
Hey, I had over there in Exodus 3, chapter 14... That bush said to Moses, Tell them, I am who I am sent you.
Nice.
And then over there in
Isn't that
Jesus,
cool? I remember JLP covered this in church during the Bond archive services years ago. He said he always is present. God is in the present. Isn't that cool? And so it was Jesus.
And then Jesus says, before Abraham, I am. I take that to say that before Abraham, God. You know, if Jesus had said, before Abraham, I am who I am, that would have been him saying he was God.
Oh, interesting.
You see
Who
that
knows?
bush?
I've heard worse interpretations of the Bible, I think. I don't know if this is a good one or a bad one, but I've heard worse. I've heard crazier.
And you see, if Jesus is a prophet,
yeah,
God talks to prophets. God talks to them. So God would have told Jesus about Abraham.
Nice.
You see?
Do you think Jesus was, or the Son was, because Jesus is the Son of God, right?
Yeah.
Do you think he was before he was born?
No.
No?
No. God was.
Okay.
And God talks to Jesus.
But they said, because they said, you're not even 33 years old, or however old you're not even 40 years old, and you know Abraham? And he says, I tell you the truth, before Abraham was, I am.
That's right.
So you're interpreting it that Jesus, that the Son of God, was born like 2,000 years ago. He was not the first, but he's the firstborn. Like he's his only begotten son. I don't know.
About?
Jesus, God, the Son of God.
Okay, hold on. See, the bush.
Yeah.
Moses at the bush.
Uh-huh.
God was in the bush, right?
Okay, that's what they say.
He said, Moses said, how am I going to convince these Israelites, your people, that you sent me? And God says, tell them I am who I am sent you. I am who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I am God. I am God. So I am is God. That word, I am, means God.
Oh, okay.
But he says, I am God.
Okay.
Okay, I am who I am. Now, Jesus only says, I am. He doesn't say, I am who I am.
Oh.
Now, if Jesus said, I am who I am, that would mean he was God. That would mean he 100% said the words that the bush said to Moses.
Falcon Ian quotes, is Exodus 3:14, King James Version. God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you.
Oh, no. I got to go back. Maybe he's right.
Yeah, who knows, man? God. It's interesting. But thank you, man. I appreciate your input. No worries. Jaime in Minnesota.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah, take care. CJ in Tejas. Last word on this, CJ. What's up?
Yeah, hey, I am what I'm not.
Is that for me to respond to?
No, I mean, does that make any sense at all?
No, it doesn't.
Right, because everybody is who they are.
Right.
The thing is that in Hebrew, names had titles. They were like meanings. So Jesus' name was Elohim. Or no, Elohim is the plural of God. Jesus' name was Emmanuel, which means God is with us, and Jesus, which means Yahweh saves. I'm walking by a generator.
Yeah.
God was saying, I am, you can call me I am who I am, because God couldn't be reduced to a description.
Nice.
So he said, you can just call me I am who I am. But everybody is still who they are.
Right.
Whereas God's just saying, like, I don't have a name that you can call me.
Nice.
And that name was Yahweh. Whoever said the word for God is in there, no, the word for God is El. He even says, I am your El.
Whoa.
Jesus didn't say, be perfect as your Father is in heaven to the whore at the well.
Right.
He said that on at the Sermon on the Mount.
Yep.
When David with his perfect, unerring Bible, mentions he without sin cast the first stone. So that didn't exist anywhere in the original text, and that was added in around 450 years after the Bible was written.
That's with the woman who was allegedly caught in adultery, and they're like picking who gonna stone her, and then he drew in the sand allegedly, and this was made up afterwards. It didn't really happen.
The whole end of Mark was just added in.
Huh? How come we left it in the Bible then?
Huh?
Why did we leave it in the Bible?
Oh, everybody's been so brainwashed that they'll just say the Bible's perfect, it never changes, there's no errors in it, It's a perfect translation. Then you point out the, version 3 of the King James Bible where it says, thou shalt commit adultery.
Whoa.
You're like, well, okay. It's just like, yeah, it's called the Adulterer's Bible because they printed every edition of it saying you shall commit adultery.
Yeah.
So stuff happens. You accidentally get a whole story about he without sin cast the first stone. That wasn't in the original text.
What about the message of that? Is the message of that fair?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah. What's the message? If it was true, Jesus should have picked up a rock and smashed her in the head, right?
Right.
Jesus
the whole thing
had no sin.
Yeah, he didn't.
Right.
Interesting.
I'd just ask you this: if you're living a life of sin, then you get reborn in Christ, and then you continue to sin. So when you get reborn in Christ, your earthly life and stuff doesn't change at all. So you just say some words, I accept Christ, and I'm going to be reborn in him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got baptized. My life, other than that, changes not at all. I still just go around and sin and continue to sin. So I'm just curious, like, what's the point of being reborn in Christ if it's not going to change you at all?
Yeah. Would you say that you are born again?
Yeah, I don't. There's two things. Look, I love the retards that listen to your show.
Nice.
But the truth is, they're not very. They've embraced low IQism. They hate on any kind of intellectualism. I mean, they're retarded.
Stop saying that word, man. Stop saying that. Because we can't be saying that on the stream. I don't think that much.
When David's talking about murderers and stealing stuff, the only thing he's trying to do is justify his sin by saying, well, somebody else's sin's worse than me.
Right. That's not right.
On the same level. Right. He doesn't seem to really understand what Jesus says. He seems to only understand what he got taught at church by not quoting Jesus. But Jesus says there's two commandments: love your father and love thy neighbor.
Yeah.
Both stealing and murdering is the same sin. It's not loving your neighbor. That's it. So it's not like not loving your neighbor is okay because he doesn't love his neighbor even more than I do.
Right.
That doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, peace
Nice.
out. Have a good day. Bye.
All right. Thank you. CJ in Texas. I disavow the R word. R-worded. R-worded. Blur says you can say it. I'm hard R. Ard-tay. Oh, what a mess. What a mess. Reborn, but don't change. Doesn't sound right. Oh, changed a lot. Stopped smoking. Stopped doing drugs. I don't know. It's unconvincing. A lot of people pretend to believe and pretend to know, and they don't. It's not good to pretend or lie to yourself or others, you know? Anyway, let's get to some news, shall we? I forgot to cover this, the anti-conservative Supreme Court propaganda. I mentioned this in Hake News. You heard it on American Anchor Baby yesterday, too, by the way. The Alitos and Roberts discuss politically sensitive topics in secret recordings by a liberal activist. This is from Commie Nonsense Network and, of course, the far-left female-run outlet The Skim yesterday, Tuesday, the 11th of June. Audio recordings, secret audio recordings. Justice Alito appeared to endorse godliness. The horror. Remember the controversy over his wife flying these flags at his homes? He got 2 homes. At least. A vacation home and whatever. And one of them, this woman, this evil woman, was a neighbor. Justice Alito's evil former neighbor says the justice is at best mistaken in the flap over the upside-down U.S. flag. Maybe some liberal, I don't know where, I forget where he lives, but there's liberals everywhere nowadays, right? And some of these liberals are meddling women. Shout out to the ladies. And their neighbors fighting and being all political. Neighbors hating neighbors. Not good. And then women getting all involved and concerned with politics and hating one another and causing problems. Alito letting his wife go out of control crazy with caring about the country. And the neighbor woman being a mess and going on Commie Nonsense Network, CNN, talking junk, trash. I'm trying not to say crap, kids. It's best. It's good not to. It's good to be able not to say it. Anyway, just terrible. So it's ridiculous. Liberals are questioning the fairness, pretending like they're questioning the fairness. Oh, you can turn up the thermostat 1 degree because it's nice and cool in here. Those of you guys who are freezing out there, the AC is plenty cool. You can turn up the thermostat 1 degree or 2 so that it kicks off so you guys don't freeze out there. That's a little message for the people out there in the office. Liberals are questioning the fairness of these justices on this potentially life-altering, high-profile cases. Cases. Justice Alito's wife was also recorded. What happened was this liberal woman pretended like she's a conservative Catholic woman. Because nowadays women are all conservative and running their mouths about politics, including the woman who said broke engas. Running her mouth about politics, raised in a conservative home, and she's all sassy. I could see that she's a mildly attractive young lady, but she's losing all that attractiveness, running her mouth, being all cussing, and here's another thing. Getting all Miss Know-It-All. Even though I agreed with everything that she said. Almost everything. She's talking about... Anyway, it's not important. I don't want to deviate from this subject. I digress. Justice Alito's wife vowed for revenge over the flag controversy and the secret recording, according to the far left, The Hill. The far left outlet, extremist outlet, The Hill. People claim that The Hill is conservative. I think. Or center-right? I don't think it is. You're going to come after me? I'm going to give it back to you, said Martha Ann Alito in a secret recording at a private conversation at the Supreme Court Historical Society's annual dinner June 3rd, a week ago, Monday, a week and a half ago. Politically affiliated flags. They tried to call the upside-down flag an insurrectionist flag. I didn't even know that it was associated with January 6th at all. And maybe she did mean to associate it with January 6th. It was during 2021. the nation in distress flag. When it's upside down, it's a sign of distress. And the nation is in distress. But Justice Alito wants to live a quiet life, and his wife didn't wanna. And she owns half the home. So you can't reason with her. How embarrassing. Published by MSNBC, and this evil woman named, she's a progressive filmmaker, meaning a communist, Lauren Windsor, another evil woman, all involved in politics. Trying to be like, oh, the Supreme Court is shrouded in secrecy. It's kind of supposed to be. It's also not supposed to make up fake ideas like marriage is not, we define marriage as between anybody. It can be between any two people who love each other. Or we can't tell when a baby starts being a baby. We can't tell when a life is a life. Therefore, Roe v. Wade. We can't discriminate in what a marriage is. So therefore, we have to force so-called same-sex marriage on the whole country. Fake ideas. Evil. Oh, Obamacare, socialized health care. Oh, it's just a tax. You can do it. What a mess. That was another thing that Joe from Phoenix got wrong. He was literally saying it was not a tax. But no, they ruled that it was a tax. But anyway, he's often mistaken, so don't trust anything he says. There was this appeal to heaven flag, which, Christian nationalism. They're trying to call it Christian nationalism as if that's some scary thing. Some of the nationalists who are Christians, and they want to affirm that we are a Christian nation and reaffirm that, the last gasps of Christianity, and force that on the people. Some of them are angry, yeah. It's not as scary as what you're imagining, dumb liberals, anti-Christian liberals. Or maybe it is, who knows, because people are evil. So there's always going to be some evil done. Sometimes you bring about the nightmare that you fear. Fear and hate, it never ends. And that's what this is. This is about fear and hate of the fairest conservatives. Conservatives are fairest. They're the fairest to everybody. They are fair to everybody, generally, especially the men. Alito, he's too fair. He's fair to his wife. That's beyond the good kind of fairness. And then Chief Justice John Roberts, a rhino. That's fair to the point of being a woman, basically. Shout out to the women, but he's basically a woman. Rhino Chief Justice John Roberts. In California, this wouldn't have flown. Of course it would have, because in California, you're not supposed to record anybody secretly without their consent. Maybe in a public place you can, but not in a private dinner. One side or the other is going to win, said Alito. One side or the other is going to win. I don't know. There can be a way of working, a way of living together peacefully, but it's difficult because there are differences on fundamental things that really can't be compromised. They really can't be compromised. It's not like you're going to split the difference. And that's how the liberal justices are, too. They're dumb, crazy, evil liberals on the Supreme Court. They're off the deep end. And the justices get along with each other. They find a way to get along. Maybe for worse, sometimes maybe for better, but they get along. Clarence Thomas, well known for getting along, being quite kind, even to the liberal justices, and being quite friendly. Again, maybe that's for the worse sometimes, because that could be a beta way to do it. But it's also there's a godly way to get along with people, you know? Terrible. Would you want me to be in charge of putting the nation on a more moral path? That's for people we elect, not for lawyers, so said John Roberts, the lame guy. That's not even for the people whom we elect. That's for you. Take the speck out of your own, take the plank out of your own eyes, not the speck out of your neighbor's. The N-word. Terrible, huh? A liberal document. Okay, so there's this other story briefly related to this. There's this evil female ex-governess, who regrets supporting Justice Alito. A liberal documentary filmmaker represented herself to the Supreme Court. Justice Samuel Alito is a religious conservative, secretly recorded a conversation with him. Rolling Stone obtained it. Former Republican New Jersey Governor Christine Todd Whitman joined Aaron Burnett to discuss. Christine Todd Whitman, 77 years old, and she regretted supporting Alito. What's with these female governors? You can't trust them. Governesses. Terrible. Just trying to undermine the trust in the most trustworthy of the Supreme Court justices. I mean, Roberts is not. You can trust him to cave to evil because he compromises with evil. But Alito, Thomas, they're trying to pretend that Thomas was taking bribes. Give me a break. Thomas, subject to bribes? I don't think so. His wife is another firebrand, very political woman. I like her, though. I like her. She may be wrong. I may be wrong. But he married a white woman Ginny Thomas. She's interviewed JLP before about God and the country and stuff. Check it out. Ginny, Ginni, something like that. Clarence Thomas's wife. Very politically, because she cares about the country. And it may be wrong, right? I'm not saying that she's not wrong. But, I appreciate you ladies who are interested in politics and care about it. I first learned a little bit about politics from a young lady who was like all into it. Older than me, obviously, just overhearing these conversations. And I'm like, she's right. Because my dad, my mother, they're pretty quiet about it. And that's often the way to be. Daniel in Texas is on the line here. What's up, Daniel in Texas? How you doing?
I'm well, James. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you.
I want to ask you about recovering from losses. How do you do? What's the best way to approach? And Mark had talked about this young lady being fired, and so what now? What do you do when you're fired?
Find another job if you can, or find a way to make money, or get by, do whatever you've been lacking that you need to do. Just do what's in front of you to do. Do what you do what the present times call for. Do what the day calls for.
Do you linger on what happened to you? Do you dwell on it?
You definitely, well, people do, but you don't. The general you should not, I don't think. It's I think it'll come to you. The lessons, any lessons that you may need to learn, may come to you as it comes to your awareness. Sometimes something comes to you. Oh, I was wrong, or this or that, because it's really not on you how other people are. It's not good for you to just dwell on how wrong other people are, and they are wrong a lot of the time. It's good for you to realize where you're wrong, or realize what you need to do or be paying attention to. It's best to stay present, and stuff will occur to you. Oh, whoa, you know what I mean?
So if you acknowledge that you are wrong, at the same time as acknowledging that other people are wrong, would you treat that as simply a match instead of I guess it's a loss, but you treat it as a match, right? You say, well, I met my match.
Oh. I'm not thinking of it in terms of a fight necessarily, like a competition. Because when you're saying I met my match,
that's kind of what it is.
It kind of is, but it's not. It's just life. In life, you win some, you lose some, and those are just physical things. It doesn't mean that you really lost. It means that one opportunity is now no longer an opportunity to work at this place, right? And now is time to move on to the next thing. And not even dwell on them or what your state of mind was. Because a lot of times stuff happens because you didn't see it happening. You weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, I don't know, I forget to do something, and I'm like, how did I don't even believe that I forgot to do something. Or I don't even believe that I said something because I wasn't paying attention. And it's hard even to, like, for example, somebody left something on that shouldn't have been left on. And we don't know who it was, right? But it could have been any of us because we're not present at all times. And we should be present. So the answer is to be present now, not wonder where you went wrong then. Just maybe it'll come to you what went wrong, or maybe it won't. But just accept reality, accept what is. Because it's not, a job is not your salvation. A job is just a job. It's not a big deal to anybody but you and your ego, you know? Or it's a big deal to them and their ego to get you fired. But, you know, like getting Trump convicted. In reality, it's not a big deal to you. It's not a big deal to me. It's not even a big deal to Trump. But it's a big deal to the people who hate him because they hate him. Or it's a big deal to the people who, quote unquote, love Trump because they love, quote unquote, love Trump. In the wrong way. It's like he's too important to them. So that whatever happens against him, they take it personally. So you want to get past that. You want to suffer the pain of taking that job loss personally, and that competition with that person who got you the general you, not you personally, because I don't know what your personal situation is or if it even is relevant to this conversation. But it's not about the person. It's not even about where you went wrong necessarily, because you can't really stew over it and figure out what went wrong. It'll come to you if it's meant to come to you. If you stay present and, work out your life.
What do you think of this? I read recently, and maybe you've seen the same thing, that generally men don't get into their stride of success until after their 40s and even into their 50s. That's when they start hitting their stride of success, because prior to that, they're not paying attention to things that are worth paying attention to.
I think that makes a lot of sense for a lot of people, yeah. I remember in my younger days, and still kind of to this day, getting caught up in stuff that doesn't matter. Something that pricked my ego, something that I'm focusing on, and then I hyper focus on it, and it's not even what's important. And I get and you get distracted that way.
Yeah.
Driven to the point of distraction. Preoccupied. There's a Spanish word called preoccupied. It means worried. Preocupado means worried. Preoccupied. Occupied before time. Occupied not in the moment, but outside of the moment.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So I have a question. You said that you read the Bible, and you're very, you seem very knowledgeable on what's in the Bible.
Yeah.
And I guess my question is why? Like, why did that interest you? To me, the Bible is really boring. It's really boring.
Yeah.
But, you know, I like, you know, certain things, certain historical events.
Right.
But you know, the Bible to me is just canned goods. Like, it's just another thing. And I hear all of these people calling in talking about the Bible. I think because it's common ground.
Right.
Right. So they kind of default to that topic. But man, it's like canned goods, man. It's like, oh, we're talking about asparagus today. Oh, we're talking about sweet corn. We're talking about, you know, the book of pickled mushrooms. You know, like I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
So
is this that is common ground?
You are a Christian, right?
Yes. I'm a
and
Catholic.
so a Catholic, did you say?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. There are debates, intellectual debates that people find intellectually stimulating. Whether that's good or not is a totally another question. But they like to debate whether the Jesus is God or whether he's the Son of God and not God. They say he's the Son of God and God. And we say he's the Son of God and not God. And then we say Christians, so no one born of God continues to sin. And that's all throughout the Bible to get rid of anger. But then they cherry pick verses to say, oh, you still angry, you still stay angry, you still sin and stuff like that. And so there's these debates that come up and disagreements between different callers and us hosts. I got into the Bible because a lot of the life lessons rang true to me. I forced myself to read like the Book of Numbers and stuff like that because I was told by people on the internet and different people going to church, and I was raised Christian, that you should spend your time with the Lord, quote unquote, time with the Lord, pray, read the Bible, and that its words have power. And so I'm like picturing that just citing the Bible has power. And I don't know if that's necessarily true, but because a lot of people cite the Bible and it's just empty.
Yeah, it has the power to put me to sleep.
Yeah, but there are interesting stories, lessons, parallels to your own life in reading about the Israelites and where they went wrong. They got comfortable and slacked off and forgot God and worshipped other things.
You could say the same thing about any other historical event.
Yeah, but isn't that nice to be able to relate to that aspect of it? How is the Bible boring, but other history is not boring?
I just think it's strange that to get so into it. Like I think it's strange to say, well, you know, in the book of Genesis in chapter 2, something happened. Like I don't understand that because I'm with you on that. People get into different topics. You know, say you're a somewhat of a flat earther. You could be labeled as a flat earther. I don't think you label yourself that, but you're not a ball-tard, I don't think. Right.
And people get into that way too much. You don't talk about that much because apparently you don't find it all that interesting, or maybe you want to avoid conflict or something. I don't know exactly why you don't talk about that on my show much. But
I think because it's self-evident, so I don't get into it.
Okay. And there's other stuff that's just not interesting to people. And I would say that a lot of this Bible talk is people caught up in their ego. It's just they're into it. You know, when you're interested in Star Wars or some video game, you can talk about it all day. Other people find it boring. I think you are onto something about people debating it and referring to it, worshiping it too much.
I think it's used as a tool to get people to leave you alone. Like if you feel, you know, somebody is argumentative towards you or something, you'll start referencing the Bible, and the end goal is to get the person to leave you alone.
Oh, okay.
You know,
in order to like prove a point and justify yourself, and they're like, and then they back off.
Away. Yeah, to get them to go away.
Maybe.
Like, you know, hey, let's talk about, you know, sports. Well, in the book of Jehoshaphat. Oh, I gotta go. Yeah.
That's funny, man. And Catholics aren't that into the Bible, are they? Or some of them are.
No, they're not really. Catholics are expected to do. Well, here's the thing about Catholics, man. We don't correct each other. So whether or not you're into the Bible, whether or not that's a good thing, we don't correct you. We expect you to take care of all of your business in the confessional.
Okay.
All right. Anything you do, right or wrong, you take it to the confessional. We are not going to correct you. Protestants are all about protest.
Yeah.
They're all about correcting. Oh, brother.
You said all about protest?
Protest. It's all about correcting each other.
Yeah.
It's all about correcting each other. Oh, brother, you didn't read this passage of the book of Jehoshaphat. Catholics do not do that. If you are messing up severely, they are expecting you to take that to the priest and confession.
Okay.
But they will not correct you.
Interesting.
So it's kind of pick your poison. You know, do you want to go around correcting everybody all the time, or do you want to be silent and just let people suffer? You know, including yourself. So.
I think that there is maybe a balance, because the Bible does say, you know, correct one another, I guess, a little bit. But that's interesting. I think that the Protestants, which I call the normal Christians, may be a little overboard and missing stuff.
Yeah,
they not checking themselves.
Well, I mean, they're so into the protest that they've made so many different denominations.
Yeah, true.
You know,
and a lot of the denominations, they get along, they like each other, they just have different denominations. Like, a lot of people don't even really care that much. As long as you agree with the basics, you're fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it always begs the question. Okay, well, what's the difference between a Methodist and a Presbyterian? Okay, well, what's the difference between
I don't even know.
You know, a Baptist and it's so convoluted.
Yeah.
Stonewall Jackson was deeply into his Presbyterian faith, to the point where he was an instructor at West Point, and the students made fun of him for it. And they gave him the nickname Old Blue Light because of his ardent Presbyterian belief.
Uh-huh.
But I think that's pretty much the way most people respond to these overly into it people.
Right. That's fair.
Make fun of you.
Yep. And that's human nature, to get overly into whatever thing and not just be normal. So I think you have a point, man. Nice, man. Appreciate you, Daniel, in Texas. Always fun hearing from you. Take care.
Pleasure. Bye.
All right. Catch Joel Friday TV coming up next, guys. We have about 30 minutes till I got to end. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. Some super chats, guys, over on Streamlabs. First of all, I was remiss in not getting to Gregatron, who avows... Gregatron says, I support Mark guest hosting for you when you're off. He lives in Cali. Problem is, Bond promotes not to have anger, whereas Mark's would be an angry host. I told you when I called you, people want to sit in your chair. Told you! Thank you, Gregatron. I shall put your suggestion in the suggestion box. Count it as placed in the suggestion box. Thank you, Gregatron, for your suggestion and for your support as always, man. Appreciate the support and attention and feedback always, man. And he's the guy who likes stop talking about Candace Owens. And I treat her like any conservative woman, pretty much. Don't I? I think I do. If you pay attention, Tommy Lahren is the other one. Yeah, this woman who went viral and said the N-word. And shout out to her. But she reminds me of a, okay, you can call her more based, I guess. Younger, better Tommy Lahren, top of the dung pile of women conservatives. Shout out to the dung, and shout out to the women, and shout out to the conservatives. You know what I mean? Speaking of ladies, I got to read from Terry Terry the Strange one. Nah, Terry Strange. Terry bought a coffee. I like that shirt, Hake, but disavow men dressing so provocatively. And by provocative, she doesn't mean S-word E, not S-E. She means this is potentially provocative. And she said, women like modest men. Thanks, emoji. Halo angel person emoji. And Christian cross emoji, because she's not a communist anymore. Maybe she has some residual communism, but don't we all? Which is to say evil, lies, stuff like that. By the way, and do catch Joel Friday. As I said, Joel Friday TV. Let me paste that into the chat over there. A real woman. Nice. A real woman. Oh, man, I didn't even notice that shirt is awesome, says Megan. So that's Megan. May or may not be a woman, right? And she likes that provocative t-shirt. But, yeah, noted, Terry. I kind of agree with you, honestly. I kind of agree. Because you're not supposed to try to provoke people. I'm wearing it because it's fun, and, you know, I do sometimes it crosses my mind. It's probably Satan. Thinking about, oh, what if I take a walk? Oh, what if I go to the store? Oh, but what if this? What if that? Nobody's going to do anything, but it does feel a little immature. Modest men. Yeah, Tommy Lahren, pro-abortion, by the way, and kind of feminist. But, hey, she's young and everybody's dumb. Who's dumber? Did he just call us women a pile of dung? No, just the conservative women who talk. Oh, I guess that's all of you. Okay. Anyway, continuing with these super chats, Evil is Still Real gave a few. Gotta be pretty gay. Oops. And R-worded E-ray Ardite to be still watching YouTube instead of Rumble. That's right, guys. Come over to Rumble. Rumble. To be watching YouTube instead of Rumble. If coming over to Rumble, please leave and check your R-wordism at the door. Yeah. We don't allow R-words on Rumble. We discriminate on Rumble. Who's we? I don't know. Dawn says, coworkers wonder what the heck I'm singing. Whoa, the Hake report. La, la, la. That's right. Thank you, Dawn. Evil is Still Real says, these are Rumble rants. Thank you, Mark, for opening my eyes that there are double standards in races using speech and fake indignation from minorities. Where did you get so enlightened? Why do conservatives not repeat this? Pretty funny, man. Pretty funny. Nice. Also on Buy Me a Coffee. Pardon my halting delivery here. Not a Victim says, I guess Jesse didn't know, referring to the Jesse Lee Peterson show, referring to my last super chat, Mark! Why don't, instead of identifying with the victim mentality, teach these little kids that swarm McDonald's using N-words and vulgar language out loudly, and anyone who uses the N-word at all, about scruples. Scruples, nice word, not a victim. Ethics and morals, by not identifying with Nga. He spells it out. N-I-G-G-A. I'm 100% Nga. And we're Nga. I'm 200% Nga. I like that song. That's how I fight back. Scruples, ethics, and morals. I made a scene because it was inappropriate, and I'm sure people there witnessing were approving. says not a victim. Okay. Interesting, not a victim. So teaching that. That song has comments from an hour ago on YouTube. People stay listening, says Nick. Enga. Why you don't like to go to court? Because the judge looks just like the put my A on a boat and made me an Enga. Which is fake. You don't know what the judge... Anyway, whatever. Blacks. So entertaining, though. Somewhat. Nice. Thank you guys for the support there. I think I'm caught up. Okay. Before I get back to calls, you can call in 1-888-775-3773. Just go through just a little bit more just to make sure. Oh, yeah. Brother Sonny. One quick more super chat. Brother Sonny says, gotta say, Hake, you men caused me to examine the Trinity and ultimately Nicaea, where it all went off the rails. I think Jesse is right. Revelation 3:7-13 kind of answered it for me. Revelation 3:7-13. KJV for you KJV only people. Am I lame for kissing up to the KJV only people? Hake, so cooperative. And the angel of the Church of Philadelphia wrote, and to the angel of the Church of Philadelphia write, these things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth, and no man shutteth, and shutteth, and no man openeth. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door. No man can shut it. I have David in my mind saying, boring! Or Trump posting on Truth Social during the court, boring! Or Calvin sitting in class all bored, going, boring! Terrible. You know Calvin and Hobbes? Has not denied my name. Thou hast a little strength and hast kept my word and hast not denied my name. Set before thee an open door, no one can shut it. I will make them the synagogue of Satan, they which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come to worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee, because thou hast kept my word the word of my patience. I will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which will come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold fast to hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. He that overcometh, I will make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, which is the new Jerusalem, which cometh down from heaven, and from my God I will write upon him my new name. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. Nice. Thank you, Brother Sonny. That was from Kick. Did you know Hake is on Kick? Not sure where you got from that, Brother Sonny, but it sounds nice. It sounds boring to Daniel, though. Okay. Let me get to Jeff in Louisiana on the line here. Jeff in Louisiana, what's up?
Hey, man, before I say my call, I want to say on the difference. Mark did call in Daly about something besides Joe on us coming out as our first thing.
Repeat what you just said. Mark did call about what?
Was something besides Joe being the first word out of his mouth.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But my comment was on your super chat. I'm being dead serious here, man. If Mark guest host or co-host or guest host or whatever, I will quit watching forever because I don't want to just talk about Joe all the time. Dude,
oh, yeah.
I know it's a show, but just like he tells you, he talks to you about Joe, man, people get tired of listening. Every day he calls in and goes on and on and on and on. At least 5 minutes about Joe every time he calls in, except for one of her first course called Dave.
Except for today. You know, I'm with you. I put it into the suggestion box, but I hadn't even given it really a second thought. I'm not Bringing him as a host. Don't worry about it.
People get tired of stuff, man. 'Cause every day it's about Joe the Snake or co-host.
Yeah.
It's either him bad-mouthing Joe or questioning you, or let him call in and complain about how he didn't get as much time as Joe. He's taking it personally, and I don't even think that he realizes it. I remember a young lady called in who I accused her of listening to the snake, and then she called me a snake, and I called her a snake. He wanted me to apologize to her. He listened to that whole conversation. It was like maybe 10, 15 minutes long, or 5 at least. He listened to that 3 times. You know, has a personal, emotional interest in it. That's obsessed with it, man. It's just, dude, you know, if you go out and do something, go outside and take a walk. Yeah. Good advice. But if he does that, he'll come up and tell you, well, yesterday when you were letting the snake speak, I turned it off. I went outside, I took a walk. Hey. Oh, is that what happened yesterday with I was talking to Mark? I mean, to Joe? No, I mean, that's why he tells you that. Oh, yeah. Right. It's like, well, when you let him talk, I mute, I went outside. that just shows you're obsessed with something, man. It's just right. Nothing in life is worth that. Yeah, I'm with you. You are right about that. You are right about that. You remind me of what Daniel says about people who are way too into the Bible, perhaps. People are too into different things that they focus on. It's sort of what happens to autistic people. They focus too much on something, and it's too important to them, and everybody else is rolling their eyes. You know, one more quick thing. I called in last week. I was on hold for everything. I did a show on Friday, I think. Uh-huh. I just want to ask you a question. Doesn't it maybe remind you of some caller that used to call in a lot? Say again? Doesn't maybe remind you of somebody used to call in a lot? Remind me of somebody who used to call in a lot? But she's... Yeah. I don't know if you're talking about somebody else specific. She's always been somebody who's called in. She reminds me of Tony. Oh, Tony from... In what way? Oh, no, he's from San Diego, wasn't he? Because she calls in and spews the same crap over and over again. That make no sense. No fact to back it up. Tony is from California, but yeah, I don't know if he's from San Diego. But I don't have the stats book right now, but it's like she's talking about the welfare and all this stuff. I think it was 44% of whites, as of 2024, 44% of whites were on welfare, drawing some kind of government assistance. Yeah. And 23% of blacks. Whites make up 69% of the population. Blacks make up 12. Whoa. So aren't those numbers a little skewed? Yeah, the numbers are skewed. And people are different. The different races they act differently. They have a different culture. They have a different upbringing. They have a different message given to them, different message they embrace. So... Yeah, but I just want to say, so that's actual facts. You can go through government databases, Google, anything you want to. That's actual facts and stats. She said somebody proved her wrong. She's calling to you and apologize. Yeah, that's terrible. You're owing an apology from her. The next time she calls, ask her where your apology's at. Okay. Nice. Okay, man. That's all right, man. You have a good one. Thank you, Jeff in Louisiana. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. Bye. I was remiss in not reading Popcorn's Thump Kegs super chat. How did that happen? I know how it happened. I saw a long coffee from him or her or it, the AI, and because it might be AI. And so that's terrible. He's like, you missed my reminder that you missed my coffee, and it's costing me $3 to remind you. Well, I refunded those $3 just now. Hopefully you got it. But Popcorn Thump Cake bought a coffee. I just saw it, and I just assumed that it was yesterday's. My bag. Anyway, I saw some clips from a recent interview that golfer John Daly, D-A-L-Y, Daly, I think, did with Tucker Carlson. Daly, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's Daly, D-A-L-Y, is known for being a rough around the edges, I don't care type of guy on the PGA Tour, pro golf
Association or something like that. He smokes. Whoa, don't do that, kids. Drinks. This is water, not alcohol. And is overweight. Not a knock necessarily, but, you know, doesn't care about being fat. A lot of golfers nowadays, ever since Tiger Woods, try to be fit. Or they're young, and so they are fit. During the interview, Daly recounted some of his matchups with Tiger Woods on the PGA Tour, namely how he beat Tiger during a match where Daly, was drunk. Wow, I disavow that. He recalled downing a few Jack and Cokes before the match. A few? Tucker then asked, do you think they would allow drinking on the tour? They should allow drinking on the tour during the matches? And Daly said, oh yeah. Tucker seemed enamored by Daly as he is smoking and drinking during the interview. Tucker seemed to love every minute of it. In contrast, Tiger gets a bad reputation for not signing autographs on tour as much. But the same people cry foul at that seem to love John Daly's quote-unquote real attitude. The game of golf, namely the PGA Tour, has always had a level of professionalism and decorum, all of which Daly somewhat rebels against. Tiger Woods showing up to a Tucker Carlson interview drinking and smoking or laughing about being drunk while playing wouldn't land the same way. It's true, it wouldn't. The dynamic is certainly interesting, and he gives me that tip. Interesting. Thank you for that tip, man. It is interesting. That's personality, I say. Tiger Woods always presented himself pretty well. I didn't know that he got flack for not signing autographs. I had never heard that. But, you know, I don't know stuff. Interesting, man. Thank you for telling me this story. There are guys who are out there who do drink on streams and on videos and stuff, whom I totally like, admire, and all that. I advise, I advised yesterday, and I may advise again today here, because I want to show want to show a clip of some guy who's like on a decline. Because, like I said yesterday, the evil sneaks up on you. Like, it's not good to be fat. It's not good to be drunk. It's good to be sober. It's good to be present. It's good to be aware. A lot of people are quote-unquote sober, but they're not with you here, They're either nervous. Why are you getting nervous? They're angry. They're obsessed with this or that topic, Bible, blacks, whites, racism, disagreements, ego, whatever. It's all ego, It's all selfish, me, pride, dumb stuff, including the Bible fighting. It's just prideful argument, oftentimes, most of the time. So, but people are just different, and I really relate to a lot of the people who are just rough around the edges like that. I'm not thinking of them in a condemnation or even criticizing kind of way when they do that. I'm not even thinking about it, because it's common nowadays to see people openly drinking and smoking and stuff like that, and being kind of shameless, and they don't, whatever. It's their life. I don't even think about it. I'm not judging it or anything. And some of them are like open about their past and wrongs and run-ins and stuff. People judge them for that, though. I'm not, that I'm aware of, but people judge them and hold it against them and try to turn them in, call them scumbags. And they're like, yeah, I am kind of a scumbag or whatever. Oh, I shouldn't say that word. Evil is still real. CJ told me that that's a bad word. That's a reference is a dirty, filthy thing. More filthy than just regular dirt and regular, soap scum. It means something else. So, dirtbag. Can I say dirtbag? Whatever. Anyway. John Daly has established himself, according to what you've told me, as that type of a person. And that's fine. Tiger has established himself as, fairly well behaved. He's half Asian, right? Those guys are fairly well behaved. And sometimes the blacks are pretty well behaved too. Sometimes. I've known I've known quite a few. That's a totally different issue, how you treat other people. And, you know, signing stuff, and Tiger's going through a lot. I don't hold anything against him. You know, and men can't control themselves. Anyway, thank you, Popcorn Stumpcake. Cool. Cool. And Tucker, if you were pinned him down about, say, my message about that stuff and about not being letting it all hang out, you know, that's a letting it all hang out thing, I think he would probably kind of agree with me. And reasonable men can, whatever, do what you want. Thank you, Popcorn Stumpcake, and thanks for the reminder. Hope you got your refund, because I'm not here to cheat anybody. In that vein, let me show you this little clip I almost forgot. Here's this picture of this guy, and then I will get to your calls, guys, hopefully. Hang tight, callers. You have this clip. This is that clip of that guy. You don't know who it is, okay? We're not saying who it is. We don't know who it is. Is this just some guy who streams? And he had a drink with him. I talked about it yesterday. And this person posted it on X, a before and after. And I cut off the after because it just is a little bit too much. But he has some color to his face, some youth, and he's holding up this thing and saying this intellectual message about, oh, this substance, alcohol. I shouldn't make it cute, but I kind of think it's cute to say alcohol. But anyway, this stuff should not control you. You control yourself. But we all know that doesn't work like that. People don't have control. Most people who drink have a drinking problem. That's a quote from a wise, relatively young man that I read some years ago. Here's this person, this streamer, I think. Check it out.
It's not a good choice. It's not a bad choice. It is a choice that is neutral.
It's not neutral.
The goodness and the badness is always in your context. If you are not someone who should be drinking, do not drink. If you're able to drink, enjoy it. If you're able to drink now and not able to drink later, then stop. If you need to take a break, take a break. That's on you. That's on you. Your life is in control. This substance does not control you. Neither does anyone's opinion about any substance. This, ice cream, whatever it is, do what is right for you.
And this is the after. He's all messed up and pale, wrinkly, dried out of it. And it's not just from alcohol. I don't know. But anyway. Terrible, huh? And I censored it because we don't know who it is. We don't know who it is. And he was on the fallen state, though. Anyway. It does control you. And people's opinions control you. You get mad at them for their opinions. That's being controlled. I love when Hake censors. It's hilarious. Yeah, I kind of like it. I ham it up with the censorship. I censored the alcohol. Dang, he looks terrible, says Chris. Yeah, it's part of why I wanted to say that. And the other part is because he was speaking the words of the serpent, the intellectual words of the serpent, most of which was factual. Facts are not truth. Masculist 76 says, I seen the jablip. Hake, you're fired. I don't know if that's what he was doing. I heard that that's not what he was doing, and whatever. Anyway, it wasn't that so unchristian. Wasn't it kind of like the serpent in the garden, speaking the words of the serpent in the garden, justifying doing something that you don't actually need to do? A man is rich, wealthy, and the number of things he can afford to do without, is what some guy said. But that's the same person, Hassan asked. wasn't that so unchristian? And by unchristian, I think that guy might be Jewish. He is a lawyer. Oh, I can't say that he's a lawyer because I don't want to dox him. His face, looks sort of like that. And a lot of times those guys, most of the time, they're wiser in the way they behave. Their life goes better. They're in a physical level, financial, success-wise, and dealing with people. They know how to deal with people. But sometimes with great success, no matter who you are, you end up a mess. He might have gotten some success and got into self-indulgence and stuff like that. And that stuff controlled him. People are weak. Hardcore drugs, dude was doing, according to this person on D Live. Nice. Shout out, Beta Legs. Oh, he's not Jewish? He calls himself a Christian? Yeah, I know, but look at that face. Culturally, I think... well, okay, thank you, Blur, for the correction. We're not doxing him, though. We don't know who it is. He's a lawyer, so he must have a little bit of that stuff in him. Anybody who's a lawyer has been imbued with verbal IQ that takes away from your intelligence. You're intellectual. Lawyers are liars because they're intellectual and not intelligent. A lot of lawyers are intelligent too. Well, not a lot of them, a few of them. A minority of them. A minority of people in general. You'll find out when you get money, says FEV, Flat Earth Victor. Yeah. It's like judging Trump for being a womanizer or whatever. Like, you be Trump for 70 years and see how well you control yourself. These betas. Anyway, I just had to share that with you because that was like, facts are not truth. And yeah, don't be looking down on him. I'm laughing because I have Rick in Hampton, Virginia on the line, but I have a hard, fast rule that I do not take calls within 5 minutes to go, much less 3 minutes to go or 2 minutes to go. So Rick in Hampton, Virginia, you'll have to call me tomorrow, man. I guess that let's do the Monkees song. Ain't no monkeys in my family tree. Rick in Hampton, Virginia wanted to talk about Fulton County judge corruption. Can't do it, man. Appreciate you. I do. But enjoy Knights of the New Crusade. Adios, America. Joel Friday TV coming up next. Bye.
Well, there's monkeys in the jungle and monkeys in the zoo. They even got monkeys in some of our schools. They tell us that God didn't make the world in 7 days. They want us to believe that we evolved from the apes. Well, I don't know about them, but I know about me. And there ain't no monkeys in my family tree. The monkeys in the vines, and you'll see them up in trees. You can even see them right there on the TV. They claim that Jonah never lived in the belly of a whale, that our ancestors walk around dragging their tails. I don't know about them, but I know about me. There ain't no monkeys in my family tree. When you see some monkeys, they look kinda cute, but not when they're wearing a tie and a suit. Big book of lines and a fancy degree, trying to make a monkey out of me. No, no, no.
It's an anti-evolution song. Knights of the New Crusade. Isn't it fun?
Well, some monkeys
Hake, you can't play this.
Some monkeys are crooks. Some of those monkeys
You're too old for punk.
Monkey books. They'll say that Jesus' miracles never did occur, and that our ancestors were covered in fur. I don't know about them, but I know about me. And there ain't no monkeys in my family tree. No, there ain't no monkeys in my family tree.
Adios, America. Bye.